talked quite a lot there about the influences and the sort of origins is perhaps the wrong word, but the development of sports science through the Cold War, which is kind of from the late 40s right up until the late 80s and early 90s, okay? Well, the key disciplines that came out of that, the ones that are going to be important for us, things that we're going to look at, things we're going to discuss. I did touch on them previously, but just to confirm, we're going to look at physiology, okay? Anatomy and physiology. You may have already covered some of this stuff, but we're going to look at it in a little bit more depth, and we're going to try to make it very specific towards football if possible. And that goes for all the disciplines, okay? We need to make it practical and relative to us. We look at sports psychology. Again, you may have touched on some of these issues. I will look at it in a little bit more depth, and we'll try and make it relevant to football and in a practical way. Biomechanics. Please don't be scared. Lots of people are. We are going to touch on biomechanics. We aren't going to go into too much detail. Okay? Please don't be scared off by that one. I talked about interdisciplinary. This really means that it relates to more than one branch of knowledge or more than one branch of sports science. Incredibly important. Okay? As coaches, you're interdisciplinary coaches. You need to know a little bit about everything. So we will touch on that. We look at the medical side of things. We look at sports medicine, for example. We look at rehabilitation. Possibly look at taping. These type of things which I'm sure you're already aware of. There's a nice link there on the PowerPoint and also again in the resources section to the British Association of Sport and Exercise Medicine. Well worth taking some time to have a look at that, okay? We look at an element I'm sure you're very aware of, performance analysis. And we will just touch on this, okay? Won't go into too much detail. It's becoming a huge part of the game, isn't it? Going back to my early experience of performance analysis, I will quite happily tell you a story where I need to put an acetate sheet on the screen and use a marker pen. I've also sat watching football games with a little logbook and done paper-based notational analysis, okay? I felt like I was playing bingo at times. It's very different these days, of course. Technology has given us a wide range of tools we can use, and it's really improved the game. Even if we just watch Match of the Day or Sky Sports, we'll see performance analysis being used there routinely in as a part of the match report, okay? An area I'm sure a lot of you are interested in, and we will cover it. We'll also look at nutrition. Incredibly important. Again, an area, particularly in football, that's changed quite a lot in the last 20 years or so. If we consider the influence of the foreign managers in the game, people like Arsene Wenger, for example, and the foreign players who came in right at the onset in the mid-90s, people like Dennis Bergkamp, Eric Cantona, and Gianfranco Zola, they really did change and really influence the way we look at nutrition in football and sport in general. Gone are the days in professional football where players would eat beans and chips before a game, okay? I think we are very aware of that. Even at grassroots level, and if we consider the sports development pyramid, foundation, participation, going into performance and of course the elite levels, kind of all those levels now, we see a greater influence of nutrition there. So this is basically an overview of what we're going to do. Please don't be scared by this. They will be done in blocks, and we'll take our time going through on a weekly basis. So I'm talking about all these different elements of sports science and what we're going to do and what we're going to look at. You might be asking a question, is sports science really that important for coaches? Well, I think absolutely yes it is. Coaches and athletes want the winning edge. Sports science can give us this. Coaches are always looking for new ideas, they're always looking to push boundaries and to improve performance. Think of the many innovations that have come along in recent years as a result of sports science. Okay, you could take some time to discuss this with your group. There's so many, okay? Still, we still have so much to learn in sports coaching and in sports science. So why stop now? These innovations are happening all the time. We're constantly developing. We're constantly pushing the boundaries. Think about, I just mentioned this one, think about the influence of performance analysis in football, for example. You go back 5-10 years ago, okay, there's a huge difference in the game now. It really has changed the game. Think about the way that you use an iPad, your iPhone or your smartphone, apps and so on in terms of performance analysis. I know I've used it in the past. working with groups of players, instant feedback. We weren't able to do that, okay? When I started off coaching, as I said, we really didn't have these tools. So it's great, and it helps us develop the game. It improves the player's experience. So I think it's extremely important, even at grassroots level, okay? It's had a huge influence on us. Sports science, that even comes down to, perhaps we could argue, the equipment that we use. Now, I remember pushing very heavy goalposts around. Now, when I work with my under-11s, we've got lightweight goalposts we can move around. I can pick them up and carry them, okay? If they fall on the kids, it's not going to hurt them. So that's another area we can consider, okay? That's just a basic one off the top of my head. What I'd like you to do now is take a look at the diagram, and there you can see a range of factors that are related to sports science and it's important to sports performance. I think it's really nicely represented there. What I'd like you to do is just take a few minutes, have a look at that diagram, think about your own experiences, discuss things with your friends and people at the club, and then we'll get back together, okay? So it's not really a task, just a case for you to reflect on your sort of experience of sports science and where it fits in the game. Take 5 or 10 minutes to do that.